This is Dr. Vaishali and I'm reading from the book Structure, book written by Dr. Rajan Sankaran. Today's element is polystyrene, plastic. The property of plastic. Polystyrene was first manufactured in 1839 by German apothecary named Edur Semon. It is the aromatic polymer that is manufactured from petroleum. Pure polystyrene is a hard plastic that can be transparent as in Javel CD cases or can be colored and is widely used to make things like plastic cutleries. It can also be combined with other polymer to form a plastic with different properties. The most important form of polystyrene and the form used to make the remedy is expanded polystyrene, which is composed of 5% polystyrene, 95% gaseous blowing agent. The immobile pocket of gas give expanded polystyrene an extremely low thermal conductivity, which with its lightweight make it an ideal insulating material, and it is used extensively as a building insulation. Its thermal insulation quality and the ease with which it can be molded and formed means that it is ideal for disposable coffee cups and packaging food, especially junk food. It is shock absorbing quality make it an excellent packaging material, and it is used widely pre-shaped or in the form of looses, peanuts. It is also used to architecture models and for film sets. Environmentally, it is cause for considerable concern. Although CFCs are no longer used as a blowing agent, they were a major cause of damage to the ozone layer, and it is also a virtual indestructible substance, and discarded coffee cup can float on the ocean which destroy the globe for the centuries. Medically, polystyrene sulfonate resin bind potassium ion and are used to mop up excess iron in hyperkalemia. Now, theme from the proving of plastic. Here the illustrative symptoms and expression. No feeling, no involvement. Practical. No positive or negative feeling. No feeling of participation. Everything should be in its place. Something expensive and delicate which has to be preserved and not used in the everyday life. Dirty, disgusting feeling. I am not going to be taken for granted. Hatred towards people who take me for granted. Give me my place, my respect. Well-known actress coming down to an ordinary position. Need for too much contact with the friends. Then sudden change and surprise. Things are happening and suddenly something else happen. No embarrassment in situation of guilt and embarrassment. Too much embarrassment. No feeling from threat of people or threat of rape. I can't face the situation if I have fear, but only if I am brave. Now, emotionless, practical way should have presence of mind, and so it is might be a very sharp-minded person who is popular with the people, wins award without preparation, many degree in various disciplines. Humble though others thinks he is a great, tremendous will, lost weight by eating some food for 1 year, indifference to appearance, and they are egoless. Grandmother being kept separate from the other because he is of no use. One just use others for their own benefit. Well-known actress says she was used by the film industries. And when one is troubled, everyone cares for the person. Money, materialistic, indolence, lack of ambition, desire for tough intellectual work. And now the theme was over. Themes are over. Now rubrics. Ambition, loss of trifle affected by. Confusion, emotions about. Contact, desire for reality and real place with. Delusion barrier, not in touch with things around her, nor with herself. Dream chaos. Dreams cluster of colorful bubbles in the sky. Dreams emotions without. Dreams isolated, being off. Dreams shocking event, emotions without. Emotions absent, sexual desire with. Intellectual work, desire for. Involvement reduced, practical logical behavior in. Listen to or desire to be. Monotonous feeling. To summarize all things, the proving shows that the idea of being insulated from the world is central to the remedy. Also important is the feeling of dullness and not wanting to get in touch with the outside because the outside was too much, too dirty and too dull. These themes are all derived from the carbon. There is a feeling of detachment and aloofness and separation from the world. One prover described this as a barrier, that she wasn't in touch with the things around her or with herself, that she was mechanically living her life. The primary expression of this is a lack of emotion in situation where emotions might be expected. Now next one is graphites. Property of the graphites. Graphites named by Abraham Gottlob Werner in 1789 from the Greek graphein, which means to draw or write, for its use in the pencil. Graphite is a black opaque with a metallic in luster. Graphite is extremely soft, hardness 1 to 2, and the smudge anything with which it comes in contact. It feels greasy and slippery to the touch. Although graphites is chemically the same as diamond, means pure carbon, it differs greatly from the mineral in the most of its physical property. Unlike diamond, graphite is an electrical conductor and can be used, for instance, in the electrode of arc lamp or arc lamp an arc lamp. Graphite holds the distinction of being the most stable form of solid carbon ever discovered. Now, understanding of the graphites. The quotes summarized from other books are there are two very striking features in graphites which blend together. Let me describe one after the other and then we will see this blending. The first feature is that they are very excitable. They become excited from the smallest possible thing. Excited would mean anxious, sentimental, despairing, irritated, sad. The slightest cause is sufficient to create the turmoil within them. Now the rubrics are illustrative. These features are anxiety about trifles, conscientious about the trifle, despair about the trifle, irritability about trifle, laughing about the trifle. This laughing about trifle demonstrates that the graphites can become happy quite easily too. Sadness about the trifle. Trifle seems important. Weeping, anxious. Weeping after anxiety. Excitement, excitable. Exhilaration. Frightened easily. Sympathetic. Offended easily. Cowardice. Opinion without courage of own. The other feature of graphite is weeping ameliorates. And the rubrics are anxiety, weeping ameliorate. Sadness, weeping ameliorate. Weeping at trifle. Apprehension and inclination to weep. Weeping ameliorate symptoms. Despondency and she must weep. This weeping is an expression and they feel much better by expressing their emotions. They become totally calm and relaxed and nothing other than the expressing the emotion can give them this relief. Similarly, until they express, they will be excited, anxious, apprehensive, sad, despair and despondent. Their mind will be all shaky and hardly keep anything to themselves. Their opinion, doubts, fear, loves and hates, be they good or bad, they expressed. The closest thing I can compare this to the turning fork. A slightest jerk to the fork will cause it to vibrate excitedly, and if only it can transmit this vibration to something else, it will become calm immediately. They are also quite timid and lack of self-confidence. They are cowardly, irresolute, and always doubt themselves. This creates in them an anxiety. They are dull and cannot concentrate on the work. They become restless when they have to concentrate, to think, to apply their minds to work. These people will sit hours at a conference, drawing and scribing, unable to concentrate for a moment. If asked about the conference, they may be able to repeat the event verbatim, but will not be able to summarize them because the later involve uh, for summary it involvement require the involvement of mind and concentration. They never comprehending and never understanding anything. They cannot plan and absent minded and easily confused. Graphite is one of the chief remedy for the ailment from the anticipation. They are always uneasy and fearful with the feeling of some impending misfortune, and any small trouble or the problem can drive them to despair. Now the case of graphites. She is the woman who has been treated by the colleague for many years off and on and coming more regularly for the past 4 years. Over this time, she was given many remedies including lycopodium, natramur, staphysagrina, thuja, sulfur, magmur, ignatia, medullum and pulsilla. This woman was in a bad shape. Her face and body were full of really ugly skin. Problem is, it was hard not to cringe at her appearance. Yet the patient herself was not bothered by the skin problem. This seems to trouble me 10 times more than her. It was surprising that she did not express any real feeling about it. I saw her in February 1997, and observation was what? Face is covered with ugly patches of the rashes. My and she narrated the symptom like my father-in-law died and I had much grief, and ignatia helped the grief, but the eczematous rash got very worse, and it was just a patch and did not think too much about it. Then month by month it spread, went into the neck also. There it was better, and yet a month ago it started again. Itchy and whole face was red. Worse at 4 p.m. and evening and night. Since yesterday it is less itchy again. And I asked what came out was the fear that something would happen. My She said my plant died. It was almost 20 year, and I was very upset and dreamed someone died in the house, and the house was full of people. She does bonsai. It is her passion. One of her 20-year-old plant died. She was very attached to that plant, and since then she has the feeling that someone is in the house died. Soon after that, her father-in-law died, and that was a shock for her. The bonsai was a Ficus benjaminia, and it is very beautiful piece of the bonsai, very pretty, and after that I felt very depressed. Doctor asked what was the feeling at that time, and she said, I was very upset. I really love this plant and Ficus benjamina bonsai. And doctor asked, why did you like it particularly? And she said, it was with me for so many years, and it was very beautiful. Even my master appreciated it. Everybody thought it was beautiful and appreciated it. Everybody said it was pretty. Now, understanding is what? See how the weight shift from love and affection to the real things of beauty and appreciation. Now, patients say, I am very fond of bonsai. And I asked, so what do you feel when that plant died? And she said, very bad and upset. And then I asked, what was the expression of that feeling? What did you do? And she said, I was very depressed and did nothing for it. Doctor asked, tell me something about bonsai. How did you develop a liking? And she said, I was fond of nature. I had my third daughter. If you do not have, and some people do not care for it. I had a cesarean, and I felt badly. To divert myself, I kept plant in the house and began bonsai. Doctor asked, you have 3 daughters, right? And she said, yes. And what was the feeling? She said, I felt must have a son. I was upset. No one said anything in the house to me, but people do not react so good to me anymore. And doctor asked, any other hobbies? And she said, I love traveling. I used to like classical music, but my house or husband does not like it. My husband like a kind I do not like, and like a foolish song. And doctor asked, so where do you like to travel? And she said, all over the world, everywhere, even Antarctica, seeing different places, everything I love. Doctor asked, when you say you like nature, what do you mean by that? And she said, I love looking at the scenery, the trees and plant. If you are just looking out from the window, I love looking at nature instead of talking. The doctor asked, anything else you like to do? Reading, etc. And she said, yeah, I used to read a lot. I would not take desire to travel in her cases. Here the conclusion is what? I would not take desire to travel in these cases yet, because I cannot understand why she like it so much. She is rather vague about how and why she like it. I need to know where travel fits into the whole picture. When I have the whole picture, I should be able to see where travel fits in. And doctor asked, do you like any movie? And said, yes. Anything favorite? And she said, no. Anything you don't like to watch? And she said, wrestling. I don't like wrestling. What do you feel? It is so repulsive how they throw each other and hit each other. It is not nice to see. And doctor asked, as child, how was your nature? And she said, I am very sensitive, had a very good childhood, good life, open house, nothing bad. I was a little sensitive when I was small. I cried when my mother went to her mother's place out of town. And doctor asked, what do you mean by sensitive? And she said, I could be hurt easily if someone said something bad. Doctor asked, can you give me some example? And she said, if I do work for anyone and they react and say, you have not done anything for me at that time. And doctor asked, an actual example from life? And she said, yes, I am doing some work in office and no one appreciate it. I don't like it. If I arrange a party and no one appreciate, I do so much and no one cares. And doctor asked, can you talk about this feeling a little bit more? And she said, my sister-in-law got married and I did everything for them and they did not appreciate it. Then what was your feeling at that time? And she said, not appreciated. She appreciated other but not me. I felt very bad. And she said, doctor said, what does that mean, make you feel? And she said, hurt. What do you do with this hurt? And she said, nothing. What do you do for relief in this state? And she said, that was long ago and I don't remember. Tell me, what is the effect of this skin trouble on you? And she said, there was no reply. What feeling does it create? Different people will react in different way. What is your feeling? And she said, I stopped going out. What else did you stop? And she said, once or twice I saw a specialist and they said it was a sun allergy, so I stopped going out on the balcony to do my plant, and I do not go out of the house much. I went to the wedding and that was upsetting also. Why? And she said, nervous, very odd. The first time after the death, I was going to a wedding. I was doing something new for the first time since he died. Doctor asked, odd means, what do you mean by that odd? And she said, nervous to do anything new. Here the conclusion is what? This is a very good and subtle twist that happened in the case, taking that change my whole perspective. I asked her what she felt about the skin. She really does not know what she feels despite coming from a very upper class existence where women usually care a lot about how they appear. She appeared laid back but then stopped going out. Patient say, I went to my cousin's house and it was okay. The next day I went to party and I felt very odd. My father-in-law had just died a few months ago and then we went to the party. So what bothered her was to go to the party so soon after the death. I asked her what was the feeling and she looked at my colleague sitting beside me for the answer. She said she felt very odd to do anything new. This is what make her unique. Hesitancy to do anything new is the issue of her life. Doctor asked, I did not follow you. And she said, you feel nervous, hesitant, and do not do hesitant to do anything new. And doctor asked, what is the feeling behind that hesitation? And she said, nervous, like something is churning inside. Doctor asked, can you focus on this? My grandmother asked what, she said, my grandmother asked what happened. I just broke down, sobbed, and cried even more than I was okay, and did everything normally. Doctor asked, when you broke down, what did you feel? And she said, when I broke down, I was better. The nervous feeling was going away. When doctor asked, tell me what was that nervous feeling? And she said, nervous, I felt like crying. Because what? Doctor asked. She said, because I was feeling very nervous. What was the feeling at that time? And she said, my family cousins we do not know well. We went early. My family cousins we do not know well, and we went early. And doctor asked, what was your feeling? She said, she cried at that time, and I do not know. When I am nervous, I feel to cry much. I want to cry. And doctor asked, I just want to know that feeling at that time. And she said, I cannot describe, that is the problem. Just problem, and I cry. Doctor asked, when you enter the place, you were very nervous. What was the feeling? Nervous about what? And she said, what goes on inside? Doctor asked again and again. And she said, churning in stomach and chest, facing something new makes me very nervous. New means what? And she said, the wedding. It was the first time since the death. Nervous, doing something new. Doctor asked, what else new would cause this nervousness? And she said, something my younger daughter, she is also going to get married, and it also make me nervous. And doctor asked, why? That during that wedding, the absence of the father-in-law, he used to do everything, so I am very nervous. My other two daughters are married, and for 2 to 3 months before the wedding, I would be on tranquilizer. I was so nervous. And you know what, my father-in-law used to look after all these things, and now he is dead, and I am so nervous. Now here the feeling of inadequacy to face the new situation is the issue here. Now doctor asked, tell me about your older daughter's wedding. And she said, I used to cry just thinking of giving them away. I was crying like that all the time. And doctor asked, would crying give you the relief? And she said, yes, little bit. And doctor asked, what other symptoms were there? And she said, if 2 friends are coming to my house, I get very tense. I get very nervous. Now things will go. And how things will go, and how I will manage, and I get tense for any work. I am very tense in nature. Doctor asked, how particular are you about keeping things in order? And she said, quite particular, not much. Then other symptoms are chilly and aversion to cold, very dry skin with a lot of cracks in the skin in the winter. Now here the case analysis. It is not the remedy that is important, but rather how it came out. It seems like a plant remedy, but ultimately there is a very deep sense of inadequacy, and she cannot manage anything new. She did not feel fit enough for anything except bonsai. She felt much unappreciated in life except for her bonsai. So its death was a big grief. The main issue rubric in complete repertory is anxiety whipping Amoneret. We observe that she is more anxious over trifle. Small things in life bother her the most, and the wedding after the death bother her, and yet the large thing, the ugly skin rashes, does not bother her, which was one would expect that she should have been very concerned about, but she is not. She talked only of a small things. These small things makes her very nervous, but the crying relieve this nervousness. More symptoms of the graphites are like chilly, cracks in the skin and eczema, strong feeling of being unfit for the business as if she is not adequate. Then I try to look up to see if aesthetic is in the graphite. There are dream of admirable building. The issue with the appreciation is not clear from the rubric, but the appreciation is not the center of the case. Rather, the anxiety above the trifle is the core sense. I started with the graphite LM1, and on LM2 she had two more attacks that were less intense and lasting, and after 2 months she was steadily improving and her skin was not yet totally clear but improving. Her energy was very good, and after follow-up, mentally I am very much more relaxed and then before, she said. And I do not weep very easily. I am not as sensitive as before. I used to feel people do not appreciate me, but I do not feel like that now, and I can go out in the sun without getting eruptions. I feel more confident in the myself, and new occasions have happened and I attend very calmly, and there is no need to cry anymore. Thank you. End of the case.